Been interested in food my whole life. Grew up with a very big food family. My mother's Swedish side and my father's Polish side. So I've always been into that. Traveling through Europe every summer with the family, eating, drinking, experiencing new cultures. That's how we really got into the countries. As for documenting it, that started maybe 4 or 5 years ago with the blog, and that's basically also because of my family, because of my mom, because I would come back from these trips when I started traveling for work for Marvel, and she would always be like, I'd show her pictures of different places and different things. She'd be like, oh, what did you eat? So I figured it was just a good way to take food, put it on the internet, give her the link so she could go up and look at what I ate, and it just kind of ballooned from there. Die, what would my last meal be? It's a tricky question. For so many years, the answer would have been buffalo wings, because it's my absolute favorite food. But recently, I'd have to say it's changed. My wife's fried chicken, which she has been working on years to perfect, and she finally nailed it, has been incredible for these last couple of years. So I think that might be it. Or my mother's banana buckwheat pancakes, which I've been eating since I was a kid. I'm not really a breakfast person, but love those. So that would be one of those two. The one thing I look forward to when I come to San Diego, multi-part answer again, I'm sorry I can't pin it down. If I had to pick one thing, it would be the fish tacos. I just can't get a good fish taco back east. As much as places try, there's just something different about it. Just like they say you can't get good New York pizza out here or a good New York bagel anywhere else outside of New York. I think the same holds true with the fish taco. Local favorite is the tin fish. Love the tacos there. And I also like the lobster and shrimp tacos at the Rockin' Baja Lobster. I fell in love with them years ago. It's like this little cilantro crema. They do a nice fry on them. They're great. And the other part of the answer would be the beer. I mean, I've always liked the beer here in San Diego, from Karl Strauss back when I started coming a long time ago to, recently even with, Stone, with Pizza Port, with a lot of these places, a bar-like neighborhood that carries so many different stuff. It's a place I always like to go to see what the new local selections are and the seasons. San Diego is amazing. The food scene is amazing, and it's never really disappointed me, or there's nothing that I think I find lacking. If I had to say one thing, it's kind of stretching my brain a little, but I've had amazing sushi here. Just incredible fish, the local sea urchin is awesome. But the other side of the Japanese food, like more izakaya style stuff, like, karage, or, even a simple tempura dish or something like that. And the other thing is that it's really hard to get good ramen most places outside of New York. Outside of Japan, I'm sorry. And New York's been growing, but I haven't had a good bowl of ramen here. I hear there's a couple places that have opened up, but as far as I know, the San Diego needs to step up its ramen game. Who would I want to cook for me? Of all my Marvel artists and all my friends, I've had friends' mothers cook for me before, which has been absolutely amazing, especially when I'm in Italy. But if I had to pick one guy I wanted to cook for me, or gal, I would have to go with Scotty Young. Scotty puts so much energy and creativity and balance in everything he does, from his art to his writing to even the business side of things, that I think you give him a set of ingredients and a fork and knife, frying pan and a spatula, and he'll come up with something absolutely incredible. So I'd have to go with Scotty. Plus, we'd have a great time in the kitchen together making whatever he'd make, and it would be a blast. Which hero or villain would be the best cook? And my mind originally went Tony Stark, but then I was like, you know what? Tony Stark probably eats the best, but he has other people cook for him. He probably drinks the best too, with his wines and champagnes and whatnot. But if I had to pick someone to cook for me in the Marvel Universe, I would first, on the hero side of things, not technically a hero, but I would go with Jarvis from Avengers Mansion. He's been cooking to every hero who's ever joined the Avengers, pleasing every palate, and I'm sure he's got a couple tricks up his sleeve over the years that'll just make the most fantastic meal. As for villain, I'm going to go with Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin. He's a man of enormous appetites, and one of those appetites I'm sure includes a good taste for food and wine, and Kingpin's very hands-on with everything he does. From his business practices to his crime to his martial arts. And I think that as a food fan, anything that he saw, he would want to recreate and learn to make, and I'm sure he's got some amazing cooking techniques up his sleeve. So yeah, Wilson Fisk would be my answer. At Marvel, I think we'd love to do a food anthology, but I'm not sure if we'd be able to. We've been experimenting with chefs like, Eli Kirstein was in a Spider-Man issue for us. Chris Cosentino from Encanto actually just wrote a Wolverine book that's coming out. So there's a huge crossover between chefs and comics. Actually, Eric Ripert from Le Bernardin, which is right across the street from Marvel, his son is a big Marvel fan. We've talked to him, and he wants to make an appearance. So we're thinking maybe having Mary Jane and Peter Parker go on a date to Le Bernardin and meet Eric one day. As for an actual food comic or food anthology, it's something we'd consider. I think there'd have to be a little bit more of interest for us to really put it into play. One of the things we have been more seriously considering, though, is a Marvel cookbook. There was a Marvel cookbook in the 70s. It's a little bit of its time, but we're planning on doing an updated version where we're asking famous chefs from around the country to come up with recipes based on their favorite Marvel hero. And something thinking a little bit outside the box. So if someone picks Wolverine, they're not just going to do skewers or something like that. They're going to create a recipe that's based on something from the character's core, something from the character's history that really captures the whole feel of the character as they inhabit the Marvel universe. So there will be more in food and comics coming from Marvel. I'm just not sure what form those projects will take just yet.